Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is a little bit different. We're in a different environment. I'm in my kitchen and I'm gonna be doing a mukbang, but I'm gonna be making a salad, which I know people are probably like, what? That is the most unsatisfying thing to eat on a mukbang, but honestly I don't wanna ruin my diet, and to be honest, it's what I would have had for lunch anyway. So I'm gonna be making like a sweet chili chicken like salad. I've washed my, what do you call it, roughage, foliage, whatever this stuff is, and I'm just gonna be making my salad with you guys, chatting to you guys. So yeah, I actually had a different video plan. All this stuff is washed, by the way, guys, so when you guys thinking I'm some dirty girl, I did have a different video planned. I was supposed to be doing it just like, yeah, a different video. It's edited, it's basically uploaded onto YouTube, ready to go, and it was supposed to be going out today, but you know what, the video was fine, it's just I just didn't feel right uploading it, and I can't really go into why, but like, yeah, it will come out at some point, just not right now, and you guys will see what I mean. But it is a good video and you guys will see it soon. But yeah, I just thought, you know what, like, let me just do a little video, make some lunch. My dog's here. I think he's a bit distracted because he's like, why is this girl shouting when I'm trying to sleep? But yeah, I thought I'd talk about therapy today, guys, because I hope you can hear me with all this loud chopping. Probably wasn't the best idea to use a glass chopping board, but it's already too late now. But yeah, since my last one of my vlogs, I spoke about therapy, and I speak about therapy a lot. And I've been doing therapy for the last like just under a year, I would say. And I had a lot of people message me asking me like questions about therapy and like how I found my therapist, like why I started therapy and stuff like that. And I do think there's a stigma in the like Christian community about Christians seeking therapy or doing therapy. And I just don't know, like I kind of just wanted to like almost like address it and discuss it, because I do think it's a healthy thing, and I think it's a good thing, and I'm an advocate for therapy. But yeah, I thought I'd kind of go into my experience with therapy. So about, oh God, how long was it? About 2015, 2016, I actually did therapy for the first time. Not many people know this, but I did it because I was having really bad anxiety in uni. Not because of uni, but because of like a relationship I was in. Yeah, and just other things that were going on at the time. And so I was in therapy then, and I had a white male therapist. I was like just saved, but I wasn't really fully in my faith. And yeah, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't a great experience. I just didn't really get much out of it. I kind of felt like he didn't really understand me. I kind of felt like we just kind of went in circles a lot, and I kind of felt like, oh, it was a bit pointless. But yeah, so that kind of I just kind of thought, okay, cool. Like, you know, like the only thing that therapy block of sessions did for me was make me realize I needed to go back to like really getting involved in my faith, because at that time I'd been saved, but I was kind of like in and out of it. But like in terms of like the purpose of me going to therapy, it was a bit useless. I can't even lie to you. But basically about 2 years ago, I decided like, oh, you know, I want to, like, I think it was in lockdown. I was like, you know what, I really want to give therapy a go again, like 2020. And you know, I spoke to a few Christians about it, asked people their opinion, like, and a lot of people had mixed opinions on it or whatever. I don't want to use all this onion. It's a bit too much, I don't want my breath to stink. A lot of people had mixed opinions on it, really. And so I was like, okay, do you know what, I'm going to kind of look for a therapist, but I'm going to look for a Christian therapist, and yeah, I'm just gonna like hopefully find someone. And I looked and I looked and I looked, and I couldn't find anyone that really like I felt was a good fit for me. And so I kind of like left it there. I didn't really like do too much. It's weird. I kind of prayed like, you know what, God, like just bring me a therapist if you think it's right. Which I'm just trying to think like, why would God? Anyway, like so literally I had that. I kind of just left it there. I tried to find a therapist and I couldn't find one. So I kind of thought, okay, cool. Let me leave it there. I don't know if I want all this onions. I'm gonna scrape it to the side. And then, by the way, guys, I've just put, I think you kind of watched, but like cucumbers, tomatoes, red onion, and now I'm gonna add the chicken. I basically got this sweet chili chicken. I think I got it from Aldi. I'm just gonna basically put that on top. Because I need the protein. But yeah, so then basically I kind of like left it there, and then like about a year later, I was at a party and I was talking to one of my really good friends. I won't say who it is because it would give out her information, but and she basically was telling me about a therapist that she was seeing and how good her therapy was, and like how she was really getting on with her, how she was like a Christian, and you know. So then I was like, oh, okay. She was like, do you want me to give you her contact information? So I was like, you know what, yeah, like, sure. So I kind of like did it. And I'm not even gonna lie, I don't really feel like I really prayed about it that much at the time because I prayed about it like a year beforehand. So I kind of was like, okay, cool. And I knew I wasn't going to therapy for anything in particular. So it was a bit like, it's not like I was going there because I was struggling with anxiety again, or I was, do you know what I mean? I just felt like it was the right time in my life to kind of do it, if that makes sense, and I could afford it. So I was like, okay, cool. So I hit her up. She was really lovely, had my consultation, and I kind of started my therapy. And it's been good. And at first I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't tell anyone. So at first I didn't tell anybody, and I was doing it for a few weeks without telling anyone. And then I kind of thought, well, actually, why is it a secret? Like, you know, like, I'm doing something for my mental health. If I was doing something for my physical health, like going to the gym, no one would have anything to say about it. So I just kind of like thought, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Like, you know, I'm gonna tell people and I'm gonna embrace it and I'm gonna be an advocate for it. Because genuinely, I think it might have been one of the best decisions of my life. And I'm not even exaggerating. Like, genuinely, it has been life-changing. Oh no, my chicken. It has been life-changing. Give me 1 second, guys. But yeah, like genuinely, I think it might be one of the best decisions of my life. Like, I genuinely have loved therapy. And so, you know, like when I got those recent questions about it, and I've been discussing it a lot on like my social media and stuff like that, I thought, you know what, let me just do a video on it. Obviously this wasn't my plan. Like I said, I had a different video planned, but I just felt like God was kind of telling me to do this. So I thought, you know what, let me discuss it. And I have got a few opinions on it. I don't think there's absolutely anything wrong with a Christian doing therapy. Just like I think there's nothing wrong with a Christian going to the doctors for their physical health. Like, your mental health is something that is so important. And yes, we have scripture, and yes, we have other Christians, and yes, we have like Christian counseling, and all those things are amazing. But they should be, they don't cancel out each other. Do you get what I mean? Like, they can all be coupled together, and they can all coexist. And I don't think like just because you are in a church where there is counseling, you don't have to seek therapy, because you can just like, at the end of the day, there's certain things you can't go to certain people about. And that's just the reality. Like, having someone who is outside of your situation, who doesn't know you from Adam, that doesn't have any ties to your emotional investment in you, hear you speak about your life and your situation and give objective help, like in truth and assistance to you, is a beautiful thing. And it's absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. And I think, yes, it is different. And I think there is like maybe a stigma when people do have like maybe mental health about going to therapists, because it's kind of like, well, you know, Jesus is the great physician and all of that stuff. Do you guys think this is too much chicken? I don't know. I'm just gonna roll there. I'm not gonna do any more though. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna add some cashew nuts and some cranberries to the top. Let me move this out of the way. Ooh. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I do think, like, I'm in a church where I have got access to fantastic Christian counselling, and I thoroughly enjoy my counselling with the like leadership in my church, and it's very useful. But at the same time, it's not everything I can go to them about, and that's just the truth. Like, that is just the reality. Like, there are some things that are what I would feel maybe I don't feel comfortable talking to them about, and that's absolutely fine. And there's some things that I need like medical help with, and that's what therapy has been for me. Like I said, this time around, I've not gone to therapy for any particular mental health reason. I've more done it just for like, you know, just my own thing. But I think what's happened is, this may be too many cranberries now, but oh well. Is there is a stigma, because it's kind of almost like, well, if you go to therapy, are you saying that Jesus can't heal you without it? And it's kind of idea that when it comes to mental health, and I find it a bit weird, but when it comes to mental health, we almost need to be prayed to be delivered from it. But when it's physical health, it's praying for healing. And I find that that's quite problematic wording, if you ask me. Because it's this idea that all mental health issues are all spiritual. And don't get me wrong, there are instances where some things are spiritual and we do need to seek spiritual solutions, but I also do believe that some things are just chemical and Like, we have chemical imbalances in our brain. Some things are reactive to situations in our past. Some things are like just situational and transitional delusion, and it's just like, it's just, there's a lot going on, and so sometimes you just need to talk through your situations. And I think sometimes we over spiritualize it, you know, like, and I know it's a bit wild to say, but yeah. I'm gonna make my dressing for this, and for my dressing I use a few things. It's a bit of a weird dressing, but it's really delicious. You guys should try it. It's balsamic vinegar. I hope that's enough. Better to have more than less. I'm not gonna lie, I like it to be like coated, like the whole thing. Olive oil, so just the classics. How much of that is? I'm definitely gonna like have like, you guys are like thinking she's having a salad and then she's drenching it in olive oil. Like, this is where it gets a bit weird now. Honey, I know what you're thinking. Is this girl fully all right? Well, the answer is no, I'm not fully all right. But then sweet chili sauce, I know, just like try it before you judge me, okay? And then I need to get like a, okay. And then I'm gonna just put a little bit of salt on it. And a little bit of pepper, the classic. I know you guys are like, where's she going with this? And my dressing, I'm just gonna, it's a bit weird, a bit of a weird consistency, kind of just keep going. Okay, and then just like drizzle it over it. Yes, queen. All right, I'm gonna just like mix it up a bit. And then just add a bit more. Okay, I think we'll leave it there. And that's kind of like the salad, guys. I don't know if you can see it already, but yeah. So I can't even remember where I was at now, but I do think there's, what was I saying? Yeah, I do think there's like a weird stigma about it, but honestly, like, I do think so. Like, the things that I would say, the way that I see it and I view therapy genuinely is, therapy isn't about someone telling you what to do. And I think that that's where people have a false understanding of what therapy actually is. Therapy isn't someone telling you this is the truth, or this is what you need to do, or this is how you should think. It's actually someone questioning your thinking process and making sure that, or essentially helping you figure out what a healthy thought process looks like. So for example, if I wake up one day and like I feel like, oh, do you know what? I just haven't done much this week. I just feel like a bum, like, do you know what I mean? And I just feel like I should be more active and stuff like that, and I should have got more done this week. My therapist will be like, oh, okay, like, well, what did you do? And I might explain to her what she did, and she was like, so do you not think that that's productive? Like, she was like, what is your idea of productivity? And then we'll discuss what productivity looks like in my head. And she's like, where did you get that from? And I might be like, from social media, or from my parents, or from, do you get what I mean? And she questions it. And for people, and if I'm being honest, if you grew up in like Black households, like especially like African and Caribbean households, there definitely is like a stigma about therapy. But I do think it is really good in confronting certain ideologies you have about the importance of like, maybe like cultural norms. Sorry, my dog is just making weird noises. About cultural things that have become norms in your community. So yeah, anyway, let me try the salad, guys, because I'm actually starving. What time is it? It's 1:45. And this is my breakfast as well, because I haven't eaten anything. Ten out of 10. Woo. Rocket has a bit of a kick to it, doesn't it? But yeah, I think it's really good. And I'm not going to sit here and say I have like scriptures about it, like, because to be honest, the Bible doesn't say anything about therapy. And for people to sit there and say Christians should or shouldn't do therapy, sorry, scripture doesn't say that. So I think it's a bit weird for people to come to that conclusion. But I also think that, like I said, it's not about telling you what to not do. It's about telling you like how to view, or it's about not even telling you, it's about getting you to confront certain thought processes that have always existed in your mind. And I think it's really, really good. And like for me, like I said, the productivity one, like the areas that I've personally like gone through or had to like, I personally walked through with my therapist on productivity, because that was a big thing in my life. Like I'm always thought that I've always thought I'm a lazy person, and I've always struggled with feeling lazy. And I don't actually know where it kind of came from, other than like just through just like feeling like I'm not doing enough. And one of the biggest things I've had to address in therapy is that I am a productive person, and I probably do a lot more than the average person does in a day, but like I just don't feel productive, and it really like affects me, my mood. It's like, oh man, I should have done this and this and this. And me and my therapist have gone through a lot of like what productivity looks like. We've gone through what people pleasing looks like, and why I struggle with people pleasing, and how I feel like I'm not a good enough friend sometimes, and like how I take a lot of like things personally when it comes to like letting people down and stuff like that. We've gone through identity, we've gone through career, we've gone through every area of my life, and just like we've unpacked it, even faith, you know, and what healthy like Christianity looks like. And obviously, like I said, I am very fortunate my therapist is a Christian, and if I was to be given advice, I would suggest that if you are a Christian, you do seek out a Christian therapist, because there's a lot of things I don't have to necessarily over explain, she just understands. So for example, if I'm describing the fact that I'm in ministry and it's really important, and like how there might be things that I want to do in ministry, but things that might cause me anxiety, and we'll discuss it, and she'll talk about my obligations to God, obligations to my church, obligations to myself and my own personal faith, and we'll kind of unpack it, and that's been really useful. So I do think if you are a Christian and you can find a Christian therapist, it is really useful, and that is my suggestion. On top of that, she is Black. And that has been really useful, because there are certain things regarding my race and just being a Black woman that I don't necessarily think that everyone can relate to, and she does understand, and so that's been really useful. And so having a therapist that does kind of like look and live a similar life to me has been really useful. Now that I think about it, yeah, how do people do mukbangs and talk to the camera? Like, I've never thought about the fact that you have to eat and talk. Like, I've never ever thought about that. That is really difficult. Like, how do I eat this and finish my conversation with you guys? Like, this is a bit bizarre. I'm gonna go get a drink. One sec, guys. Put my little drink. But yeah, I find it really interesting. I just think that I definitely think there are some questions you should ask yourself before you go to therapy, and I do think there are probably a lot more people that need to go to therapy than want to. But if you are a Christian and you are thinking about it, like, there's so many areas of my life I've gone through and I've discussed with my therapist, and I do think like maybe if I was going through those things without my therapist, I do wonder how I would deal with it. And like I said, just having someone, because you know, a lot of people do, I think a lot of people burden their loved ones with things that really their loved ones aren't equipped to consult them on or to counsel them on. And that's just the truth. And also on top of that, like, I mean, half the stuff I went to I went to my therapist about, if I'd gone to my parents about them, of course my parents would have given me fantastic advice. But my parents are my parents, and they want the best for me, and they have some form of, emotional investment in me. And so where they might give me more like safe advice or like comforting advice, my therapist just gives it to me real. She just straight, no feelings, no hard feelings, just says it as it is. And I do think that it's been very beneficial. But on top of that, where my parents also, or like family members also have an idea of who I am, when they give me advice, they kind of give me advice through that lens, and my therapist can't do that. She can only advise me from what I've told her about myself. Do you get what I'm saying? And so it's been very beneficial. When it comes to faith, like, I don't go to therapy, and now because I'm in therapy, I cut off all Christian counselling, and no, I still have 3 or 4 friends that hold me accountable, that I talk to about most, if not everything that goes on in my life. I still have my pastor, who I go to for like headship and advice from like a spiritual leadership perspective. I still have like family and my parents, who I go to from a perspective of like knowing me very well. And obviously above all of that, and above therapy and above everything else, I go to God. And therapy is not a replacement for God. No one said that. That's what it is. It's definitely not that in my life. I speak to God every single day, and throughout the day, even before when I was putting this together, I was talking to God. And even like I said, when I woke up this morning about whether to do this video or not, it was God that convicted me. I have an ongoing dialogue with God, and therapy is not a replacement for that. And if God convicts me to do something, that's the final say. That's period, point blank. Like, there's no going back and forth with God. And so for me, therapy has been very useful as a tool alongside all of those other things. It's not in replacement of any of those things. And it's the stigma about it. And the reason why I'm so open about it as like a Black woman is because it's, like I said, there's such a stigma about going to therapy and seeking like advice and mental health help. You know what I'm saying, guys. But yeah, there's such a stigma. And to be honest, like, the biggest group of people I think need therapy is Black men. Ooh, said it. I said it. Black men need therapy. You know, I say too much. I think they do. And to all the Black men in my life I've spoken to about it, and I've told them I think that they should give it a try, because Black men go through so much, and that experience is so unique, and I think it could be very beneficial to a lot of Black men. And it would prevent a lot of things that we do see in society. Now, am I saying that now Black men don't need God? Of course they do. Like, I'm not saying like it's not one or the other, but I'm saying like therapy would be very useful and a great blessing to a lot of these people. So yeah. Do you guys think I'm weird? I think I'm weird. But yeah, what else was I gonna say? The cons of therapy, the only con I would say, is that it is extremely expensive, and it is basically reserved for those that can afford it as a luxury. You can get therapy through the NHS, but the quality is maybe not as great. The access to it is there's a bit of like a waiting line. And you only get like, I think 6 to 12 sessions. And so, yeah, and for them, it's kind of like, from what my experience, because the first set of therapy I had was with the NHS, my experience was it was kind of like, I did it so that they could tick off that they treated me. And I'm not saying that's the case with everyone, but that was my experience. Whereas this time around, my therapist is very like, she's invested a lot in me, and we go through a lot of things. She gives me homework, she goes back to ideas that we've discussed in the past. She follows up with me. She sometimes even emails me throughout the week about things. So like for me, like obviously I've been able to have private therapy and it's been fantastic, but like obviously I'm fully aware that it's a luxury and something that not everyone can afford. I know a lot of people have also asked me about the price of my therapy. I pay, so it's a sliding scale, my therapist, so it depends on how much you earn. So like whatever bracket you're in. So like if you're, for example, I think it's 20 to 30 or 25 to 35, you pay, I think it's 50. Is that right? No, 20 to 30, you pay 50. Then I think it's from 30 to 40, you pay 60. And then 40 to 50, you pay 70. And so on and so forth, like £10 per extra 10k, if that makes sense, per session. So it is quite an expensive thing. And obviously it's also something everyone can afford, but like you can ask your therapist to be flexible. Maybe you can have 1 session a month, or you can have 2 sessions in a month, or you can kind of like do it however you want. It depends on the therapist, depends on like the kind of company you go with. But I would say more often than not, a lot of people do want to help you. And so there are definitely schemes and ways you can get access to therapy. If you're a student, there's like discount rates for a lot of students and a lot of these things. So there's a lot of ways you can get access to therapy. I will put a few links in my description box below about where you can find therapists and stuff like that. I can't suggest my personal therapist because that's just not appropriate, but she's been fantastic. And yeah, I don't know if there's anything else I wanted to touch on. I've kind of really spoke very casually about it, and obviously this video has not got like a particular structure like the rest of my videos. It's just me rambling on a little bit, but I hope it has helped you guys to understand my opinion, my voice on this kind of matter, and why I'm such a strong advocate for it. I definitely And I'm gonna do this in a separate video, but some of you may know, like, at the moment I'm not working, like, yeah, kind of not. I'm not working like my current job. I left my old job. I'm like changing careers. I'm like really invested in myself. I've picked up new hobbies. I've like started putting myself out there romantically and stuff like that. And all of that is off of the back of like therapy and having like conversations that were really necessary. And there's a lot of things I wouldn't have been able to have the confidence to do and the confidence to be, because a lot of people call me confident, and I want to do a whole video on it, but I do believe confidence is something that's 100% something you wear, just like my wig or my top or whatever. Like, I put my confidence on every day, but therapy has definitely helped me like so much to just develop that confidence, even when it comes to saying no to people or saying yes to certain things I do want to try, or taking big massive leaps like leaving my career and starting a new career. Like, it's helped me to be so much more confident in myself. And like, honestly, I think the whole stigma around therapy and Christians doing therapy and Black people doing therapy, it really is harmful to us, because we could be getting so much further in life and really like seeing the best in ourselves if we just took time to sit back and reflect about what maybe harmful thought processes we've been taught that aren't useful or aren't helpful or don't liberate us and help us to be the best versions of ourselves. And so I'm a massive advocate for therapy, and that's kind of my opinion. I hope you guys have enjoyed my little mukbang. I'm going to finish the rest of the salad off camera because I just can't eat and talk. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a bit different, and like I said, I did have a different video that was supposed to come out today, but for whatever reasons, it's not coming out. So I hope it has been good. I hope you've enjoyed it, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!